Greetings gamers, my name is Anto and today I want to talk to you about the new Pathfinder book, The Treasure Vault. Now I've talked a whole bunch about Pathfinder over the last couple of years and I'm going to be making even more videos, so if you're new to the channel don't forget to subscribe. Now loot is an integral part of most fantasy RPGs and for a lot of people it is the reason that you are delving the dungeon and charging the darkness. You are going there to get that sweet loot. So I'm not going to bury the lead. A book like The Treasure Vault is pretty much a must buy if you are running a PF2 campaign. If you're a GM, you're going to want to buy this book. Just go and get it. It is full of stuff that will inspire you. Review over. No, I'm kidding, kinda. But that is sort of my whole review. It's if you want just hundreds of new items for your Pathfinder game, buy this book, whether you're a player or a GM. If you are playing a different system, say you're playing 5th edition, I still kind of think that this book might be worth checking out because it's got a heap of really cool magic items in it. But I do have some more thoughts than that, so let's talk a little bit about some of the specific things in the book that I really like. So like I said up top, this is a kind of difficult book to review because it is literally just hundreds of pages of new magic items. Like, that's either going to be useful to you or it isn't. So instead of doing like a typical review type thing, I'm just going to read through some of the notes that I made as I was going through this and give you my thought process on some of the specific items as well as on some of the sections themselves. So to start off, the very first thing that I noted was the names of the characters. Like a lot of RPG books, this book has information contextualized through the form of a character giving notes on things. And both the characters that give notes throughout this book, there is a dragon and a kobold, both of them have names I really struggled to wrap my head around. The dragon is called Vala Shinaz and the kobold is Pure Purin, I think it is. And every time I read either of those names, I read them as Shiraz, like the wine, or Potpourri. So every time they popped up to give information, I was like, oh, there's Shiraz again, or oh, look, it's Potpourri the kobold. Not really a negative, just I do often wish that sometimes fantasy writers would give us just slightly easier names. The art, as always, I think is gorgeous in this book. There's a lot of illustrations of the specific magic items, but there's also a lot of full page pieces depicting various adventurers and their interaction with magic items. The book is broken into a few different sections. There's a section for armor and weapons, whole alchemical section, a whole bunch of new consumables, as well as a bunch of specialist magic items. Like there's magic food, which is really interesting. I got a lot of inspiration reading through the magical food to think about how I'd apply that to my game. And then there was also bottled monstrosities, which require you to take pieces of specific monsters, bottle them up, and then they have a range of magical effects. That was really cool. I really like the idea of engaging with the world in that kind of monster harvesting way. In terms of highlights for me, a lot of it was the armor. I thought a lot of the armors were really cool. My favorite was the magnetizing armor, which allows you to kind of magnetize yourself and stop people from being able to move away from you. I kind of wish that you could spend multiple actions to kind of supercharge it and pull things towards you. Like I made a note here saying the magnetizing armor is amazing, but I wish you could spend 2 actions to pull weapons towards you or 3 actions to pull a whole creature of your size or smaller towards you. That would be really cool in combat to be able to engage the armor to take weapons away from people. Obviously there needs to be some check, or if they were wearing a suit of metal armor, to be able to supercharge your magnetizing armor and pull them across the battlefield to you would be super cool. There is also portable armor, which is very Iron Man 2, but it takes a whole minute to put on, which feels like too long. I would have preferred it if it was a case of like you have the magical suitcase of armor and it takes 3 actions your whole round to put it on. I would have felt much more like Iron Man in that case. Like a minute means that this just isn't something you're going to do in combat, and if you're not doing it in combat, then most of the time you're not going to have that be applicable to you. Like there's very few situations where you're outside of a combat and the difference between a minute and 10 minutes actually matters, and I think that makes it too niche for this specific armor set. I really like the black hole armor, which allows you to open up black holes in your armor, absorb projectiles as they're being fired at you, and then once you've charged it up a little bit, you can open another black hole and just fire all the projectiles out. That's super cool, really evocative. Makes me think of Portal Man. Is it Portal Man or the Black Spot? From Spider-Man, I'm thinking the old 90s cartoon, the guy in the white leotard with all the black dots on him. He could rip them off and throw portals. In terms of weapons and things, there's a bunch of new magical ammunition, including Bane ammo, which is a super cool idea. It's specific to a creature type, and it is more effective against them. This would be really cool for a gunslinger character. Like the idea of a bandolier of all of these magical bullets, and you just hot swapping them out as you're in the middle of a combat. Super cool and evocative imagery. Now, for the most part, the thing that I like most about this book is the way the magic items, and this is what I think the hallmark of a really good magic item is it made me start thinking about story hooks and how to incorporate it into an adventure. Like there's a true shape bomb, I think it's called, and the way it works is it undoes the effects of polymorph. So if you have a creature that is polymorphed into another creature or an object or something like that, and you use this true shape bomb, it reveals their true form. That could be really cool for an occult mystery style adventure where there's doppelgangers, shapeshifters, mimics, that kind of thing. Maybe you have your players attend an event with a lot of people in there, and you're pretty sure there's going to be a doppelganger there who's going to try and assassinate the monarch. Well, having a true shape bomb would be really useful to just throw into the crowd, reveal the doppelganger, and then engage in some kind of chase or combat. Same with all the alchemical monstrosities, the bottle monstrosities, really useful for building an encounter or building a whole adventure around. You know, you say, I want this specific piece of a monster, so you're going to have to go out and get it, and then at the end of it, you're going to get a magical item that you can use in the future. I think the one magical item that stuck out to me the most throughout the whole book, though, is the Blightburn Bomb, which is just a war crime waiting to happen. So you throw a radioactive bomb, and it causes Blightburn sickness, which is like radiation sickness. And if a person with Blightburn sickness goes into contact with another person, they can kind of irradiate them and pass on that sickness. The players already are prone to committing war crimes, in my experience. So that just handing them that, they would do so much damage. But it would be a really cool plot device to use to say, oh, the big bad wants to activate some kind of bomb. This is a great use of it because it is not just, oh, big explosion, bad stuff. It is actually going to propagate a blight. So yeah, super short review for this, but the headline is, if you're a GM, you're going to want to buy this book. If you're a player, you're probably going to want to take a look in this book because it is absolutely chock filled with magic items. There is a new crafting section in the book. I'm not going to go super in depth with that because I don't have huge amounts of experience with the existing crafting system, but I'll link a video down below from the rules lawyer who has done like a deep dive into the new crafting system, talking about its pros and cons versus the old one. It's really helpful to get a sense of how this is different to the old system, so that'll be down in the description below. So what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below if this is a book that you're going to pick up. But until next time, happy gaming.